besties, Merry Christmas and Happy December. I think that this is actually going to go up the week before Christmas, so we've been in December for a bit. Today we are going to be reading Christmas books, specifically like rom-com Christmas books, and then also a fantasy-esque Christmas book, which is kind of wild because I honestly don't really know of any fantasy Christmas books except for the one I'm going to be reading. But I've started The Holidays and by Christina Lauren, and it's going well. I don't know if it's going to be my favorite, but you know what? This video is honestly just for vibes. My house is already decorated for Christmas, which you guys saw last week, but we decorated for Christmas on November 12th. So I've been in Christmas mode. Guys, if you don't know me, Christmas is my favorite time of year. Like it is my favorite holiday. I'm really excited because it's Christmas time and I love Christmas. Right now, it's a little chaotic because we're baking again. I am quite proud of myself to say that I feel that I'm becoming the baker for people's birthdays and making cakes, and I love it. I think this year, this will be my third cake I've made this year for a birthday, but it's my dad's birthday today, so while him and my mom are out doing their little spa day, I'm gonna be making his cake, which is actually really simple compared to the other two I've made this year, because a lot of it is just like box cake. My parents are obsessed with nothing but the bundt cake. Like, I think it's the lemon cake. We haven't tried the chocolate cake. We found like copycat recipes online, so we're gonna try today. And it honestly, I don't think it'll be that hard because it's literally cake mix. We're starting off with In a Holidays. That's what it's called. Yeah, by Christina Lauren. I've only read her most recent book, which was The Paradise Problem, and I did enjoy that. So we'll see how this one goes. So far, it's been a little weird to follow because basically right now, from what I understand, the concept is Groundhog Day, and this girl keeps on like replaying, or like December 20th keeps replaying for her. So she's like, what the heck is going on? And that's as far as I've gotten so far. So I'm gonna listen to this while we make, oh my god, the oven's ready. I've been yapping for too long. Here we go. Book and baking. This should be a series. Books and baking with Day. To film making the icing and icing it, but I think it turned out real cute, except for that little dent right there, but we don't look at it. But like, look friends, oh my gosh, wow. I think I'm gonna give this one a 3 out of 5 stars. It was fun. It was the first Christmas book of the year, so I did have a good time, but I think the whole thing, I don't think I like the Groundhog Day concept at all in books, in movies. I just think it's too repetitive for me, but I'm glad that it didn't keep on groundhogging the whole book. I think I listened to it on audio, so I'm actually not sure how much of the book was Groundhog Day, but it was only like the first little bit, and then like the last, I would say 3/4 were actually just her living out the rest of the week, or the Christmas week. So it wasn't completely Groundhog Day like I thought, which was nice, because if it was, I don't think I would have loved it. There were so many like cute little quotes in there. I think I did mention one. I think it was something along the lines of like, I didn't know what love was until like I loved you or something, and I was like, the book follows May, and her family go up to Utah every Christmas with their family friends. It's like 2 families, and after Christmas this year, she's like spiraling as she's going home because she's like, oh my god, like it was just not good, like something bad, or not something bad happened, but like something happened at the end of her trip, and she was spiraling. She's like, this is so embarrassing, this is so bad, da da da. She's like, I can't believe this. And then she's like, universe, please just show me what will make me happy, because this was just not it. And that's what inspires the Groundhog Day, because the universe just keeps on replaying that day until she finally like triggers the thing that will make her happy, and then Groundhog Day stopped and she's able to kind of relive that week again, which is a really fun concept. And it just goes from there. This is literally what I wanted from like a Christmas book, even though there's not like much going on, but I'm invested. And I think I can get through like a good chunk of this today. I got this at Winners for $7 and I checked the inside and it's actually $32 Canadian. So I feel very lucky for finding this at Winners. But can we just, okay, this is such a vibe, like reading it in front of the Christmas tree, like, oh my God, I'm having so much fun. Okay guys, I'm almost done Bright Lights Big Christmas and I love it. I do. I really do. I got through majority of this book on Saturday. I got through like 173 pages. And there are only 200 and something pages. I think like 270 something. 275. So I got through about half the book on Saturday. And now I have like less than 50 pages left. And it's Monday afternoon. I didn't really read anything yesterday, so that kind of just shows you how fast I'm flying through this. And I think I love this so much because it's so fast. Like, it's going so fast, but like in the best possible way. There's so many secondary characters to the main characters that just make the story what it is. An old man who walks by the Christmas tree stand every day and he draws with like Carrie and Austin is like the little 6-year-old who lives in the building right beside like their tree stand, and it's literally just so wholesome, and it's giving me all of like the holiday warm and fuzzies, if you will, and it's making me so excited for Christmas. Like, this is what I expected from a Christmas book, and it's like surpassing my expectations. It's so dark in here because it's cloudy outside, but it's also snowing, so I'm really happy. But I finished Bright Lights Big Christmas I think like a couple days ago, and I adore this book so much. Like, this is everything I wanted in a Christmas book. This book is about Carrie and her family tree farm. So her family owns a tree farm, and then every December her brother and her dad they drive the 10 hours plus to New York City. They set up on like in a parking lot, I think, or like in a neighborhood, like a very cute neighborhood, and they just sell their trees to everyone in the community. And I think I like this so much because even though it was like a New York story, the neighborhood that they were in felt very small town. And I love that because everyone in the community just knew them, they remembered them, and they drive up and they sleep in a little camper van named Spammy. That's what Carrie's mom named the camper van, and it has no running water. Like, I can't even remember if it has electricity, so they have to go to people in the neighborhood's house or apartments to shower and do laundry and stuff. And along the way she befriends a lot of the neighborhood, specifically a little boy named Austin, and he's like 6 years old, and his dad, I think his name's Patrick, and then Mr. Hines, who is an elderly man who just walks around the neighborhood, and every time he sees Austin and Carrie, because Austin usually hangs out at the Christmas tree lot with them, they're drawing, and Mr. Hines is like, oh, I want to draw too, so he'll like draw with all three of them, and they end up crafting this story out of like drawings and stuff. I would say that this is like a 4.75 stars out of 5. I didn't get the 5-star feeling, but like it was just so good, and it was literally everything I needed and more. And I immediately gave this to my mom to read because I knew that she would love it, so I stole it back from her to record this clip. I started Spectacular yesterday, and oh my god, you guys, when I tell you that I am having the best time reading this, I am having the best time reading this, and like in all of like the cutesy little like kid ways that you would be when you're reading a picture book, I am reading this book. The drawings in this are absolutely insane. Like, oh my god, this story is reading so fast for me, and I didn't realize why, and I was like, probably because more than half these pages are pictures, which is insane. But like, can you see that? Gorgeous, like amazing. And I was really curious about like who the artist was, because I'm like, some of the like, this looks familiar, like the art style looks familiar, and I just couldn't place it. So when I went on her Instagram, I'm like, oh my god, she's the artist that did one of the most beautiful, I think they're drawings or like digital art of the Once Upon a Broken Heart series, but like specifically in the Ballad of Never After, when Jax is taking Evangeline to the Hollows. You know what I'm talking about? You know, it's like when he's carrying her to the Hollows, and I was like, that's her. Like, she, wow, I love it. Like, her fan art literally got her like a gig, and I was like, oh my gosh, girly, go off. Like, I love that for you. So that's probably why the art style was so familiar to me, because I was like, I've seen this before, and it was just like a cute little surprise. But I am indeed blowing through this, and it's really making me sad because I don't want it to end. Stephanie Garber, the woman she is, oh my god. Though I always forget how much I love her writing, and the way that she just like injects holiday spirit into this book is insane, because their holiday isn't even Christmas. They call it like the Great Holiday, but it's very similar to Christmas. The way that the first 3 pages, I was like, oh my god, she's declared it Christmas time. I think this was released in October, and I was like, if I read this in October, it would be Christmas. It would literally be Christmas. But the way that like she writes, oh my gosh, you guys, like, and the illustrations just add like so much to this. So I literally have nothing bad to say about this. I wish I could slow down and like really not read as fast, but I'm trying to like slow down and enjoy it for what it is, because it's just amazing, and I'm so happy to be back in this world. And they did give a shout out to Jax from the Ballad of Never After, so I was like, okay, everything's like full circle, and he's still in the universe, and I was really happy, and it's making me happy, and you can't tell how much I'm loving this. I'm loving this. Spectacular by Stephanie Garber was a 3.5 stars, and the best way I can put this is that it was a better pumpkin spice cafe, as in you read it solely for the vibes, like solely for the Christmas vibes. When I say coming back into this world was like absolutely everything for me, it was a very short and sweet book, and that is why I read Winter in New York kind of in between this as well. Like, I would read a chapter of this and then read Winter in New York, and then maybe like 5 chapters of Winter in New York, and then come back to this, because I truly believe I could have finished this in one sitting. A lot of it is photos, like illustrations. Rosie killed it. Oh my gosh, like, can we start a petition to bring back illustrations in books? Because like, yes, I feel like a child, but like in the best possible way. It's like literally her art is so beautiful, and this felt like a grown-up book, but in like a children's book way, and that's the best way I can really put it. There was no Jax in this, and that's okay. I was like kind of wondering if the characters from Once Upon a Broken Heart would make an appearance. They did mention Jax, but he didn't like come into the book. Like, he wasn't physically in the book. And oh, another thing I should mention, this is a Tella story. This is not a Scarlett, Julian, or really Legend story. It's literally just, I saw a review on Goodreads, and they're like, it's Tella's world, we're just living in it. And I was like, that's literally what this is. So if you wanted like all 4 of them, it's mainly just her, which is fine, but like I was kind of expecting just a bit more. Reading this did put me in like the most magical holiday mood ever, because the way that Stephanie Garber describes things and like her descriptive writing is just like so amazing. But it really got me. Like, they don't celebrate Christmas, they call it like the Great Holiday, but it's very Christmassy-esque, if you will. There's nothing Stephanie Garber will write that I will not read. It put me in the Christmas spirit. What more would you want from like a Christmassy book? I started A Winter in New York yesterday. I went to the library and picked it up. From the first couple pages, I think this is gonna be like a fluffy Christmas romance, which is literally all I wanted. That's all I wanted for this video and for like these books, because I knew that that's what would like put me in the holiday spirit and like really get me into like Christmas. Wait, but guys, stop, because I actually like loved this. I have notes in my phone, so I'll go over like my thoughts later, but this is like my hour, not even hour, half an hour-ish before work, but like I read and then I start work. But it's so cute, like it's giving me like all of the rom-com-y like feelings. Like, okay, so for preface, where I am, it's literally making me giddy. For preface, they're watching a movie in Gio's apartment, and it's like the first date jitters, like nerves, you're like nervous and da da da, and they're watching a movie and they're on opposite ends of the couch, right? Okay, so then halfway through the movie, Gio gets up and he's like, oh, let's get more wine. So we got more wine, and he sits a little bit closer, and then Iris is like, oh, I have to go to the bathroom, and when she comes back, she sits closer, and then like they just start getting closer and closer until like their shoulders are touching, and I'm like, this is getting so good, this is getting so fun, and I am loving this so much more than I thought I would. Like, I am eating this up, and I have so many other thoughts, but like this part just like it got me, and I was like, now I'm excited and now I'm giddy, and I just like, it makes me think of like first date jitters and like being giddy and scared and like the nervous butterflies, but like the good nervous butterflies. So like oh my god, it literally just takes me back to like, oh my god, almost 2 years ago when my boyfriend and I went on our first date. But I'm like, just like, I love that like feeling and like giddy and like the nervousness, but like the good nervousness, and like, oh my god, I love it. The way that she set this up was immaculate. Like the timing in between when they met and now, it's been like 8 months, so the chemistry has like been there, like they've known each other for a while. Oh my gosh, I'm so obsessed. Now that I've composed myself, oh my god, that scene was just so good. But I'll tell you guys some of my other thoughts that I have in my phone. Like, I have the list here, so I know. First one, oh, they make all of the rom-com references, but specifically to rom-coms that take place in New York. And I was like, oh, I love this. And I think at the back of the book, I was trying to see how many pages I had left. They have a list of all of the rom-coms they referenced in New York. And I was like, this is so fun. This is literally just making me like so nostalgic. And because I used to watch like all of them when I was younger with my mom, so it was amazing. I think I said in a couple videos back, I realized that I love so many like books and things that give me nostalgic memories, not necessarily of like the characters, but like of the situations. It's like a Emily Henry or Abby Jimenez, where there's like life problems happening. Like, it's not just a rom-com, the characters are actually like growing and figuring like things out for themselves and healing, and the concept of healing is just great. When I tell you guys I didn't know this book was gonna make me cry, it's 11:30 and I'm like crying in bed, and I think I still have like 100, maybe like 70 pages left, and like 2 tears rolled down my cheeks, and I was like, I was not expecting this book to make me so emotional and like heal things in me, but also like not like trigger me, but like really make me think. And I'm like, wow, this is really emotional. I think we should have a cry count for tonight in general. I think this is time like number 6 or 7, so 6 or 7, that's my guess. The way that my heart would like drop and my stomach would sink when like certain things would happen, I'm like, oh, this is definitely something. Given it a couple days to marinate, because I was just so emotionally distraught at the end of this book, and I feel like the clips that I got from me finishing this at like 12 a.m. really like encapsulated the feelings when I like finish the whole thing, but I loved this so much more than I thought I would, which is a good thing. It was like, it gave me winter vibes, which hence the title, Winter in New York. Not like Christmassy vibes, because the end of the book kind of happened at Christmas, but it wasn't like a purely Christmas book. It was like all seasons, if you will. It really made me question, am I actually healed? Like, am I actually healed in the ways that I think? Because after reading this, I don't think I am. Let me see if I can successfully tell you guys what this is about, because I feel like the whole like synopsis on the inside of the book, it's one of those things that gives you like a, when you watch a trailer, you're like, did I just watch the whole movie? Sort of thing. So let's see if I can do this efficiently. But this is about Iris, and she recently moved to New York to try and restart her life. Her mother passed away, so she's dealing with grief, and she's leaving a very toxic, abusive relationship. So she needs out, so she moves to New York. She ends up getting, she's a chef, and she ends up getting a job at a noodle house, and she lives above the noodle house, and then above her lives the owner of the noodle house, who is Bobby, who eventually becomes her best friend. So one day Bobby takes her out to, I think it's like the Fall Street Fair or something, like in their area, and she stumbles upon a door, and she's like, this is so odd, because I'm getting deja vu, like I feel like I've seen this door before. So they go back to her apartment, and she's looking through her mom's old scrapbook that she obtained after her mom died, and she realized her mom has a picture of a man in front of this door, and she's like, oh my god, I knew I saw it before. Beside that picture is like a recipe for gelato, and her mom was like notorious for making Iris gelato all the time. It's like her comfort food, and she's like, oh my gosh, I guess this is where my mom got her gelato recipe from, like this guy who owns this restaurant. So she was really curious. The restaurant was closed, or like the shop was closed when she went there with Bobby, so she goes back the next day, and this is where she meets Gio. And Gio ends up being the nephew of the owner that her mom has a picture of, and he's like, sorry, we don't have gelato right now because my uncle, this is where like the fluffy book characteristics come in, but he's like, my uncle is the only one who knows a gelato recipe. He won't share with anyone. He had a stroke and he's recovering now, but he can't remember the gelato recipe. And Iris is like, that sucks. Like, oh my gosh, I hope he recovers. Can I try some gelato? Like, I'm a chef, maybe I can kind of help you. So she tries the gelato, and she's like, oh my god, this is my mom's gelato recipe. Like, that man gave her the recipe. So she's like, I'm a chef, I can try and help you recreate the recipe. And he's like, that would be great. So this is where the lying comes in, because she doesn't know how to tell him that she has his uncle's gelato recipe, and she does it out of like, her rationalization is that she's like, it's not my secret to give away. Like, your uncle probably gave it to my mom for a reason. What reason is that? I don't know. So from there, she ends up spending a lot of time with Gio and his family, and they get to really know each other and eventually start falling in love. Because the one thing I did love about this is that it takes place over the course of like 8 months. So it's not like they meet in 1 week and instantly fall in love. It's like a slow, not even slow burn, but it's like you see the relationship develop over time, and I loved that. It's not just a Christmas book. I feel like this is any time during the winter, because it starts on Valentine's Day and ends in Christmas. So it's like a full 11 months? 10 months-ish? Do with that what you will. I loved it, and I ended up giving this a 4.75 stars out of 5 because it didn't give me the 5-star feeling, but I feel like I just felt so much. If I shed a tear reading a book, it's definitely up there. And I shed multiple tears reading this book. Moving on, I have started The Most Wonderful Crime of the Year. Okay, so you know how people like scroll on TikTok and like, or through like online shopping, they're just scrolling? I do that on the library app. I'll just scroll through and see what's available, and this happened to be available, which is fantastic. It was only available at the time in the large print version, so when I tell you guys, like, the font in this is quite large. I've never read a large print book before. Really, I was showing my boyfriend this yesterday, and he's like, this is actually funny that this is one of your book characteristics, like something you love about a book. And I was like, shh, just let it happen. Look at the flop. Ready? So floppy. I love it. It's giving like mystery, and again, I didn't read anything about this before I started, but I think this is like a mystery rom-com holiday book, which is kind of crazy. I love that. And the author of this is actually, what does it say on the back? she's the writer for A Castle for Christmas on Netflix, and that was one of the like cheesy Christmas movies my mom and I watched last year. That's like our thing. Like we love like the cheesy rom-coms, but like the cheesy holiday movies, oh, don't even get me started. I really don't know what to expect from this, but I'm excited. I think I'm getting to the good part, but there's still like 100 pages left. So I'm kind of confused because it's picking up and like I can't stop. So it's getting really good, but like why are there 100 pages left? Like what's gonna happen in these 100 pages that I'm not gonna love? So I'm pretty sure I'm at the part where like they're explaining what happened and like the clues that they found, and like they're basically leading up to say, or like they're leading up to like the whodunit of it all. And I love when they do that in books and like just anything in general, because it makes me feel smart even though they're laying everything out for you as like a kindergartner. But I'm like, I just feel so smart because I was like, yeah, you're right, I see this, I understand, da 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 da. Oh, you're so smart. I just find it really funny because like I realize I'm doing that, like thinking those thoughts in my head, and I was like, well, they're literally just giving it to you. Are we surprised I'm in the same sweater? No, because I hyper fixate on sweaters, and this is like one of my cozy ones from Aerie, and I just love it. So there you go, that's why I'm in the sweater so many times. But I finished The Most Wonderful Crime of the Year, and I had a great time reading this. I honestly wish I read this when I had more time, because the amount of times I had to stop in between because I was just so busy. Like it's at that time of the year where everything's just getting busy. Like it's literally the week before Christmas, which is insane to me. Christmas is next Wednesday and it is Monday today. So where is the time gone? I still need to bake all of my cookies and wrap presents. It wasn't really a thriller. I didn't really get thriller vibes, but I got the mystery vibes. I think what I love about mysteries are that I don't think I see like the plot twist coming at the end. I love a good plot twist. So that was so fun. There are like there's like a baby plot twist leading up to the plot twist. It was like, oh, did this person do it? Cause like there's a secret that they've been hiding and I just revealed the secret, but actually they didn't kill her. They didn't like kidnap her. It was actually this person, and you know, so it was just really fun. There were a lot of quotes in here that I did love as well. There's one of them where it was like, because the best thing like society does well is like gaslighting women into thinking they're the problem, and I was like, oh, that hit deep. Great quote, amazing, put it on a shirt. It's just one of those fast, fun comfort reads, I would call it. It's very cozy. Now I kind of want to find more books like this, like a cozy mystery. The one thing I did want to mention was that I wasn't like super invested in the romance, which is fine, because I think like coming off of a book like Winter in New York, where there were so many like heavier topics, and like this book takes place over the course of like a weekish maybe, and the two main characters fall in love. A Winter in New York happened over the span of like 8 months. So it was more of like a slow burn. You saw like the chemistry and the relationship develop and form over time. And this one, I wasn't as invested. I didn't believe it as much as A Winter in New York. So this book is about Maggie, and she is a famous mystery author, and her and another author from her publishing company, so Maggie and Ethan, go to Eleanor Ashley's house. And Eleanor Ashley is like the mystery writer of all mystery writers. She's like amazing. So they go to her house for Christmas. She's invited them. And then 2 days before Christmas, like Eleanor disappears, and everyone's like, oh my gosh, her family's there, some of her family friends, and they're like, what the heck happened to her? And then it's just Ethan and Maggie trying to figure out what happened to Eleanor and all of that stuff, all of that good stuff. So I would highly suggest this. It is such a fun winter book, holiday book. If you're not into like the cheesy rom-com books, this one is a good, like a fun little twist, because there is a mystery and a little baby bit of like thriller. But it was fun. It was so much fun. I would say probably either a 3.75 or a 4. Like this was very well done. And that is all, my friends. The Bright Lights Big Christmas book is actually on loan to one of my family friends, my neighbor actually across the street, so I don't have it here. But I would say this is really successful. I had a great time, and it really like put me into the Christmassy mood. I think this is gonna be maybe potentially the last video that I see you guys in before Christmas. So if it is, Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. I hope you guys have a great little Christmas break, like that week in between Christmas and New Year's where the world kind of just like breathes for a second and has like those weeks off. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you potentially next week or the week after that. I haven't decided yet. But thank you guys so much for spending some time with me today, and I will see you in the next video. Bye guys!